Good morning, everyone. Please rise as you're able for our joy song this morning. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Is there anyone here for our first time? Their first time? My first time? Your first time? No. Welcome back, old friends, good friends. Good to see you. Please take this moment to turn off your smartphones, cell phones, and otherwise not so smartphones. That way no one will buzz loudly or ring with an obnoxious ringtone. All right, welcome to Carrie Rutledge today. Thank you for coming back. We always love to have you with us. And I'll be your reader today. Doug will speak for us and bring us a good message. So, I have too many papers to look at. Oh, it's time for me to read. No wonder I was confused. I'm doing double duty. I now recognize the great truth. The Spirit of God hath made me, and the breath of the Almighty hath given me life. In God I live and move and have my being. The perfect life of God indwells me within. With me is the fountain of life. My life is not apart from God, but it is a part of the one life which is perfect, whole, and complete. My body is a temple. It's the temple of the living God, the temple not made with hands. The love of God is expressed through my body now as right action, as right harmony, as vitality. This harmony is outpictured through me now as health and peace of mind. Every cell in my body is a radiant center of God activity. Vibrant life fills me right now, releasing new strength and vitality through every single cell. Moment by moment, I'm renewed by the Spirit of life that proclaims, "Behold, I make all things new." This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I can now live by that life that is omnipresent and full of power. In all that I do this day, perfect mind, every active, thinks of me, moves me, lives me as a part of itself. I am immortal spirit, incorruptible, changeless, harmonious, strong in thought and body, living, trusting, resting in the freedom and fullness of perfect life. Amen. All right, it's time for our opening hymn. We'll turn to page 85, please, and stand as you're able. We'll sing "In Endless Love Abiding," both verses. That's page 85. "In Endless Love Abiding," and we'll sing both verses. Page 85.
morning. Good morning. Now's the time in our service for the Bible verse. Today I'm going to focus my Bible verse and also my message later will all be about sort of about the subject of amateurism. Because I know many of us are professionals or have a professional thinking or occupations, but we're amateurs at so many different things. Many of us are. And I want to read today just a little bit about an amateur that I think might make a good Bible verse for us. His name is Thich Nhat Hanh. He's a monk from the Plume village in France. And in the late 1960s and early 70s, he taught comparative religion at Princeton University. He also lectured at Columbia University. Martin Luther King nominated him for the Peace Prize, but he's very much an amateur. And I want to read you something that he wrote, and I think it speaks to all who we really are, to the very center of us, to the very core of us as divine scientists. So bear with me as I read this to you. This body is not you. You're not limited by this body. You're a life without boundaries. You have never been born, and you have never died. I look at the ocean and the sky filled with stars, manifestations from your wondrous true mind. Aren't we really what we experience? Aren't we imagining what we experience in our minds? Don't it come to fruition in our lives? Since before time you have been free. Birth and death are only doors through which we pass. Sacred thresholds on our journey. Birth and death are but a hide and seek. So laugh with me, hold my hand. Let us say goodbye. Say goodbye to meet again soon. We meet today. We will meet again tomorrow. We'll meet at the source of every moment. We meet each other in all forms of life. I think that says everything about who we are as divine science. We think in those thoughts. We think in that belief. When you say the orders of service, when you look in the orders of service with me right now and say the statement of being. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God, and I'm ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
Let's see. Today I picked a couple of my favorite hymns. This one just reminds me of when I was a little boy and 5 brothers sitting all together on the same pew, which was sometimes trouble. They never did ask us to leave, but it got close a couple of times. All to Jesus I surrender, all to Him I freely give. I will ever love and trust Him, in His presence daily give. I surrender all, I surrender all to Thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender all. All to Jesus I surrender. Make me Savior, wholly thine. May thy Spirit fulfill me. May I know thy power divine. I surrender all. I surrender all. All to thee, my blessed Savior, I surrender all. I surrender all. I surrender all. All to thee, my blessed Savior, I surrender all. I surrender all.
Now's the time in our service for our healing meditation, and I invite you to become comfortable in your seats. Turn the lights down just a bit so we can get the mood that we're wishing for and that we wish we want. I have noted that in many of our classes here, we teach these words and these concepts. Consciousness, or God mind, or the one mind. And I will tell you, beloved, you do not have to know the definition for such terms. Oh, it's nice to know consciousness or one mind, but what really is important is that relationship you have with God. You know, that ability to turn to our omnipresent Mother and Father God and say, Father, I'm here. I'm here. And to know that your voice will be heard, your thoughts will be heard. You know, it said, where two or more of me are gathered in my name, I am there. That divine Spirit is here with us now. And I invite you to take a breath and to invite God into your heart now, into your mind now, and to have that personal conversation. For the next 2 minutes, I invite you to just go within and turn all over to our God, our omnipresent God, now. Father, you have promised to help bear the load, heal the heart, heal the spirit. And we can even feel that now in this room. We feel your presence, Father. And it's in that nature of Christ we say Amen. Amen. As we're in a moment of prayer, will you say the Lord's Prayer with me now? Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed is thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will is done, on earth as it is in heaven. Thou givest us this day our daily bread. Thou forgivest us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Thou leadest us not into temptation, but dost deliver us from all evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Do you remember when I started out, I said today is going to be about amateurs? And I'm very much an amateur speaker, so I fit in real well with this. The numbers 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. What are these numbers? Well, they're prime numbers. They're those numbers that are divisible only by themselves or by 1. In 1568, there was a French monk by the name of Mercini, and he became fascinated with prime numbers. And he even came up with his own way to come up with a prime number, and these are called Mercini prime numbers. It's where you take a figure, multiply it by 2 to the power of 2, you get the answer, then you subtract 1, and you try to find a Mercini prime number. Supposedly they're infinite. Well, this is about amateurs, isn't it? In 2016, at the University of Missouri, there's a doctor there in mathematics. His name is Curtis Cooper. And Curtis has a use of the research computer down there at the University of Missouri. And so far he has found 4 of those Mercini prime numbers. And when you win, or when you find one, you win $3,000. So he's won $12,000. Matter of fact, there's an internet search for it. It's called the Great Internet Mercini Prime Search. I think they are the ones who award you the $3,000. Well, just a few weeks ago in 2018, January 2018, the 50th Mercini prime number was discovered. Well, it wasn't discovered on a great big Cray research computer in China or something in Japan or by a big research computer at a university. It was discovered by a FedEx employee in Germantown, Tennessee. You see, this is his hobby. He's been doing this for 14 years, searching for that Mercini prime number. Oh, he's very much an amateur. And he did not use a Cray computer or a great big research computer. He used his laptop. He found the 50th Mercini prime number. It is 23 million digits long. It took 11,600 sheets of paper to write it down. The interesting thing about the Mercini prime numbers is, well, what good are they? What do you use them for? Well, when you do a credit card transaction, the Mercini prime number helps encrypt it all your transactions. Matter of fact, Apple has a patent on some Rossini prime numbers, and they use it in their Apple iPhone so that you can't open them if you don't want to. Remember, the FBI was trying to open them in California, and they couldn't get in? It's because of the use of the Rossini prime numbers. Very much an amateur found that. Very much an amateur. In the late 60s and into early 70s, there was a fellow by the name of Michael Monovich. Michael lived in California. He went to UCLA. He was just a college student. And he had a summer job at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in California. Now his job, he was a mathematics major at UCLA, so his summer job was just, they gave him just little stuff to do. And he said anybody can do it with a little bit of knowledge of calculus or algebra. I'm sure it would have confounded me, but he said it was easy for him. And they gave him a paper, and he did it. He turned it back. He said, well, they said, we'll write a little paper on it. And he did. He's just a college kid. Summer job. And he was around all these tremendous minds at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory. All the tremendous minds of the time, back in the late 60s, early 70s. All the rocket scientists. And he said the only thing they were all thinking of, he became intrigued by this, is they were all trying to come up with the idea of how to build a big enough rocket and put enough fuel in it so they could visit other planets in our solar system. That was the big thing at the time. You see, the thinking since the 1930s, the Germans had thought it, the Russians had thought it, we had thought it, you just need to keep building bigger rockets, put more fuel in them. But we realized that that wasn't going to work. But it didn't sway the scientists. That's the way they were going to think, and that's the way the thinking was. Well, our little college student, Michael, got around all these bright minds, and he started thinking about that problem. And on his own time, he started jotting some mathematical figures down on a piece of paper. And he even talked to them to let him use their computer down there for a short while until they saw what he was doing and said, no, you can't use the computer. You see, he was coming up with a different idea. He was coming up with the idea that you could launch from the Earth and you could orbit a planet using the sun's gravity and the planet's gravity, and you could loop that planet and then gain speed and go on to the next. That's what he was thinking. And they said, oh, no, you can't do this. That's not how we're thinking. That's not what's going to happen. Well, on his own, he said he spent 12 to 16 hours a day. He started plotting out on a graph, sheets of paper. And you can see them today, the sheets of paper, where he would do the math on how to approach a planet with the trajectory and the velocity needed to circle that planet and have it propel you off. And he came up with the idea of calling it the gravity assist technique. And he presented this to those scientists down at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and they scoffed at him. He said, no, no, you're around scientists. We're real scientists here. So he did some more math, some more formulas for him, and presented it to him. And bingo, he was right. He's just a college kid, summer job. But he solved the problem, gravity assist theory. Well, in 1974, at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, there was a true scientist. His name was, Mark Fardo. And he was going over some things. His whole job was to look at the planets and plot their trajectory and plot where they're going to be in the future and so forth. Planets such as Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. And he was plotting these heavenly bodies, and he realized in 1977 that the planets will be lined up. We've never seen that. And he said this would be a great opportunity to use that new technique, the gravity assist technique. And so they got the funding somehow, and they built what we call today Voyager 1, Voyager 2. Well, they did launch those two, Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. And the reason why I had to do it in 1977, because these planets will not line up again like this for 175 more years. This was a one-shot deal. Well, we did get to look at Jupiter. We got to look at the rings of Saturn. We went on and got to take a look at Uranus for the first time ever. And we looked at Mercury also. Matter of fact, just a few weeks ago, Voyager 1 gave one of her last little beeps to Earth. She's 18 billion miles away. She's the first man-made object ever to leave our solar system. She's into interstellar space right now. And she turned back upon herself and took her last picture. And it showed the Earth as just a little white dot. And it showed the planets lined up. And this is all possible because of our amateur, Michael. You know, even in our design science, we have amateurs in our past also. We've heard the name Melinda Kramer here. She was born in 1844. She died in 1906. She was born in 1844 in Indiana. Her parents were Quakers. At the age of 15, Melinda became very ill, very sick. And her parents said, well, we'll try to move to San Francisco. Maybe your health improve if we move to San Francisco. So they did. Well, she was sick and an invalid for 25 more years. As you can do the math, simply from 15 add 25. She was an invalid until she was in her 40s. She was 40 years old. And one day, I think she'd had enough. One day she shouted out, she said, "Is there anyone that can help me with my condition?" Those are the words she wrote. "Is there anyone that can help me with my condition?" Is there a power in the universe that can heal me? I can feel her frustration. You're invalid for 25 years. I can feel that. Is there a power in the universe that can heal me? Well, it didn't happen suddenly. It took a period of 2 years. But she slowly regained her health. She wasn't stingy with her benefits either. She went on to found, as we know it, Church of Divine Science. She was the teacher of Nona Brooks, another one of our founders. She taught sometimes, I think she taught in other countries even. And she did healing and teaching and writing. She wrote at the time what was called the Harmony Papers. She was a very New Thought preacher and a New Thought thinker. But you know what? She's just an amateur, isn't she? She was just an amateur. Crying out, "Is there anyone in the universe can heal me?" She was just an amateur. In John 14, this is the passage where Jesus is trying to reassure his disciples or his apostles. And he's telling them, you know, in my Father's house there are plenty of rooms. And then if you read the passage further in John 14:12, he says, "And you know the works I have done, you will do more than me." The works I have done, you will do more than me. That's what he said. And he said this to his disciples. Let's look at them for just a second, because these are really amateurs. We've got Andrew, James, and John, who are fishermen. We've got Matthew, who's a tax collector. We've got Simon, who's a zealot. I mean, we have a group of really, really amateurs. What did they go to do? What did they really do? What is it recorded about them? Well, these are amateurs, but well, Peter walked on water. And James and John healed many, lame and sick. And Peter was even said that people brought sick people, ill people, people that can't walk, and brought them out to the street where he was going to walk through the street just so they could walk and be in his shadow as he walked by. And they were healed. Healed in his shadow. These are amateurs. Oh, and Paul raised Eutychus from the dead. These are amateurs. Well, we are amateurs, are we not? And as John 14:12 says, you will do greater things than me. Well, I think Jesus was talking about you and me. You see, he was talking about that school teacher who stops at the desk of someone and says, are you fitting in? You're not being bullied, are you? That school teacher who makes sure that that student fits in that classroom and is accepted. You'll do greater things than me. You know, that surgeon who's getting ready to operate on you with that scalpel, and you know that God's hand is right there with him. You'll do greater things than me. You know, the cop that buys the homeless person a meal, or the cop who buys a coat for someone who's cold. And we just saw with the snowstorm, a police officer shoveling the walk with an older person. Oh yes, you'll do greater things than me. And the therapist with training and empathy who helps someone turn the chapters of their life over on their way to healing. Yes. You'll do greater things than me. In closing, John 14:12. You know, the works I do, you'll do greater than me. And that is the invitation for all of us. Will you go with him? Dear Father, thank you so much for being among us and hear us. And hear our voices as we cry out to you. Is there a power that can heal me? Yes. 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 Thank you, dear God. Amen.
Now here's the other, one of my favorites from childhood, and I invite you to all sing along. Some bright morning, when this life is o'er, I'll fly away to that home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away, oh, I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have gone, I'll fly away. like no bird from these prison's walls. I'll fly away. Here we go. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Oh, how glad and happy when we meet, I'll fly away. No more gold or shackles on my feet, I'll fly away. Oh, I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. I'll fly away.
Thanks, Carrie. That brought back a lot of memories for me. It's time now for us to give what was first given to us, our time, ourselves, our possessions. So if you'll say with me our blessing for the gifts. Today I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of this special gift that I am. Through me, God omnipresent blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God. During this time, if you will take a prayer from our prayer basket, a person to pray for this week, we guarantee that you'll be truly blessed in the giving. And will you also take a moment to turn around to the people around you and tell them thank you for the special gift that you are.
Come out here.
Thank you.
You look great.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't even know what to say about that. I'm speechless. And that's odd. Watch it, Doug. Oh my goodness. Anyhow, to start out with, I want to say that Marita's still recovering from pneumonia. We still continue to pray for her. We have a card. If you all have not signed it, please do so, and we will send it home along with the flowers today for her. If you'll take them to her today, we appreciate it. We'll continue to pray for her and just know that she will be well, but we want her to rest and do her thing when she's ready to. So, okay. So,
Of course she is.
of course she is, that's right. So anyhow, we continue to pray for Marita, knowing that she will be well. Nancy started her spiritual psychology class Monday night. If you're still interested, you can still join. Is that correct? Okay. Started at 6:30, so please join us. If you didn't come this past Monday and you still want to come, join us tomorrow night. It's always lively for Nancy's class. Also, we will do the Wednesday night class, the book reading. We will do that Wednesday night. We kind of bypassed it this past Wednesday and had Kathy do her little class that she had, but we'll go back to our regular Wednesday night at 5 o'clock this Wednesday. Also, we still continue to have our coffee at the Mill Mountain at 6 o'clock. And also we have our happy chat at 6 o'clock here on Thursday. So if that doesn't suit you, then tell me something else and we'll find something that you're interested in. We have Valentine candy for sale again. Martha put them back there yesterday, I guess, after I was over here. I wasn't here yesterday morning. But anyhow, we got candy bars, $2 a piece. So go back there and buy all you want. And it's a fundraiser for us. Also, as you know, we've got a little table set up as a store, and Martha switches it out about every other day, I think, because every time I come over here, there's something new. But check it out. Might be something in there that you're interested in doing. Lastly, we're going to have a Valentine's party. I think it's going to be on February the 17th at 6:30. But I will get with Wendy and I met yesterday, but I will talk to Pam and Kate, and we'll get all the details, but that will be coming up in February. Also, one last thing is, we've talked about this before, but if you want to donate, make your donations online, you can do that. Go to our website and click on Donate Here. You can pay for the flowers, you can pay for classes, anything that you do at the church, you can pay online, and makes it very easy for Laurel at the end of the year. I think she figured that out this year. So, anyhow, but if you want to do that, and if you have a problem with it, let me know, and I'll be glad to help you do that. But you can pay, like even when we do fundraisers, you can go in and donate your money there. So anyhow, we appreciate you. I appreciate everything that everybody does.
All right, our closing hymn today is number 14, page number 14. Love is the answer. We'll sing both verses. So rise when you're ready. That's page 14. Love is the answer.